The rules now state that the other team, unless there's a turnover, that the other team gets a chance to match a field goal or a touchdown. Yet, which exists in college without the clock on the what they call a Kansas City overtime where you start at the 25. Most teams in that situation allow the opponent to go first because, while like in an inning in baseball, you want to have the second ups. And one of the reasons there is that if you're down, you can now go for it on fourth down with no decision-making involved. You get 4 downs to get into that tying field goal range or to score that tying touchdown. And that you would think that the team that gets it second would get the advantage because of it. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan said that they wanted the ball first because we went through all the analytics and talked to those guys, and we just decided we wanted the ball third.
And there never was a third.
You know what that is, Mazz? You know what that is? You know what that's some nerd doing? He's just running the math on an extra possession. It's like the 2-for-1 in basketball.
Yeah, they're not factoring in who they're facing either. It's just quarterback X.
It's numbers.
Yeah.
It's these jackasses in the NBA who say, when you've got 30 seconds on the clock, go up with it. You got to shoot it because you want the last possession. It's 2-for-1. You want the 2-for-1. You need the 2-for-1. So this is why in every NBA game, at the end of a quarter, the end of a half, the end of a game, some jackass is shooting some ridiculous shot from out of his ass at 37 seconds because they want the 2-for-1, the extra possession. The analysts upstairs told them that statistically speaking, if you get the extra possession, you're better off. So just play the clock, play the numbers.
Stunning.
I actually understand it just from the practicality point of it, too. Like, so you get that third crack, you're getting the first crack at sudden death. But you're not going against quarterback X or generic quarterback. You're going against a freak. So even if you get the field goal, what, you think the freak quarterback's not going to go down and get a touchdown?
Now, you want to rip Shanahan? I'm with you on this. This is just another guy that turns it over to the math nerds, to the as Thomas Dimitrov told us at the Super Bowl last week. What do you call him, remember? The propeller heads.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right.
The propeller heads upstairs who've run the numbers and said, well, if you go first, odds are, and I don't know how they calculate the odds, you're going to get an extra. It's all about the extra possession, which has ruined basketball. It hasn't ruined it, but, it's made those end-of-clock situations in basketball completely annoying. It's all just about attempts as much as it is. It's three-point rate, right, Coach Mazzulla, versus made three-pointers. It's just the rate. I think it's sort of the same sort of rationale, don't you? Extra possession.
Yes, definitely. There's no question it is. And I'll tell you, instinctively, because I don't watch a lot of college football either. Like, instinctively, I said take the ball. But you know what? It's wrong. And I'll tell you, I think it also manifests itself in another way. When they got to the end of that drive and they got to fourth down, they had to kick.
Right.
They had to kick. If they go for it and don't get it, now Mahomes only needs a field goal, and it's over.
No, you have more control going second. And again, it gives you an extra down going up and down the field. Now, when you get into field goal range and you're 4th and 7 from the 20, you're probably not going to go for – you're going to go for the tie there. But you have more flexibility, more options, more control of what you're doing and how you're calling plays. You want to go second. I think, and not that I watch it, but I've been led to believe – in the college football format, most teams that win the toss go second for that reason. So I think this is what this speaks to Shanahan's lack of game acuity, because he just goes by the numbers in the 3-ring binder, and he just deferred to the freaking propeller heads. He admitted it. None of us have a ton of experience with it. True, this is the first time it ever happened. But we went through all the analytics and talked to those guys, and we just decided we wanted the ball third. And that's just all that is. It's some freaking nerd from the Sloan Analytics Conference determining 2's better than 1, or you get the extra possession if you get it first. And they all just deferred to it. That is gross.
So this, I will say, like, Bill would have handled that totally differently.
Well, Kansas City was great. I'm sorry to cut you off. Andy Reid said they had a different idea. And Andy Reid was talking like they had the choice when they didn't, but he said ours, meaning our plan, ended up being the right one. But that easily could have gone the other way. But that's what we felt was the right thing to do, Andy Reid said after the game. Well, they didn't do anything. Kansas City won the toss and elected to receive. They had no other choice. The only thing they had to choose was end zone.
No, you mean San Francisco won the toss.
San Francisco won the toss and neglected to receive. So all Andy Reid was doing was picking the end zone, but he was talking like he had a choice, which you didn't. But I lead this to believe that if they had won, they would have handled it differently. He said ours, meaning our idea, ended up being the right one, but that easily could have gone the other way. But that's what we felt was the right thing to do, Andy Reid said. I'm never going to question Kyle because he's brilliant, but that was something we chose, and through our studies, we thought was important. Okay, he didn't choose anything, so I don't know what he's exactly talking about there. I guess he's saying that if he would have chosen, they would have chosen to go second and leave it to his defensive lineman, Chris Jones, of all people, for the reason why. Jones said, yeah, we talked about this for 2 weeks, how we were going to give the ball to the opponent. If they scored, we were going to go for 2 at the end of the game. We rehearsed it. So the way Andy Reid was going to account for not giving the team the extra possession was to, if they scored a touchdown, we score a touchdown, I'll go for 2, and that's it. They don't get the ball back a third time.
Right, we're going to go to win it, decide the game right then and there because it's in our hands.
So that's what the Chiefs would have done if they had won the toss. And Andy Reid was talking about like they actually got to choose that. They didn't. But if they had, that's what they would have done. I wonder what Poindexter upstairs with the propeller head would have said to that. I don't know. I'm sure they're running the numbers as we speak.
No, they probably would have liked it because it involved going for 2. And we have a 51.2% chance of making that.
True that. So, I haven't even asked you. What did you think of the decision?
So, again, in real time, I thought, well, I would take the ball too. I get out in front. But it's wrong. And it didn't strike me that it was wrong until they started talking about, again, because it was new. I don't watch a ton of college football. So I don't understand I didn't understand the huge gain of going second. Shame on me for not knowing that. But again, when they got down inside the 10 and they had to choose kick or go for it, it was 4th and 4, I think, 4th and 3, 4th and 4.
Something like that.
Okay, it's not ungettable that you can convert that. But he can't do it because if you give Mahomes just a field goal to win the game,
right? No, if
you're boned, it's over.
Yeah.
If you're forced to go 4th and 4, it's sort of out of your hands. The game has dictated it, and you get an extra down.
But you got to take the points and then make Mahomes get a field goal. Like I felt like that decision was taken out of their hands. They couldn't go for it if they wanted to.
I just hate the rationale. No one's ever done it before, so we gave it to the analysts, and this is what they recommended, so this is what we did. Oh, then why do we have you on the sideline again, Kyle? You're going to make a call? You're going to make a decision? You're going to use your instinct? You're going to flow of the game? I don't know. Or you're just going to go to the propeller heads upstairs who said, well, you want the extra possession. Oh, so you're saying having the ball twice versus once is better. Oh, wow. Thank God you went to MIT for that. Woo. You couldn't figure that out at Tufts or BU. Or where'd you go to school, Murray? The Connecticut School of Broadcasting? Where'd you go?
Pretty much. Doesn't even exist anymore. It's now the Art Institute.
They don't
Mass Communications.
They don't teach that crap at the Art Institute.
Yeah.
Thank God they pay someone $475 up top who went to MIT.
Big cake
to give you that. Oh, I hate that rationale. Can't stand it. And it came back to bite them. And so the Chiefs are great. The Chiefs are like, yeah, Andy, we have been practicing this crap for 2 weeks. Chris Jones, their defensive lineman, said, yeah, Kyle Shanahan, he was crazy. And they asked him, well, then what would you have done? How about that? No, well, our plan was go second. If we needed a touchdown, we'd score the touchdown. And instead of kicking the ball back to him, we'd go for 2, and that's it. That was our plan. Their defensive linemen knew this. Meanwhile, in San Francisco, even the kid that went to Harvard didn't know what the hell. Juszczyk went to Harvard, right? The fullback? I think he went to Harvard. Go ahead, Jimmy. What did Juszczyk say after the game?
You know what? I didn't even realize that the playoff rules were different in overtime, so I assumed you just want the ball because you score a touchdown and win, but I guess that's not the case. So I don't totally know the strategy there.
Something you guys have talked about?
No.
Ha!
No, we haven't talked about it, no.
Is this something you guys talked about? No. Well, what are they teaching you at Harvard?
That's correct, yeah.
Well, don't let me answer that. I have an idea. But, dude, so even the Harvard kid, because in San Fran, they didn't go over it. Where in Kansas City, yeah, the defensive lineman's like, yeah, no, that was crazy what Kyle did. No, we go twice, and if we need a touchdown to match, we go for 2, and that's that. That's how we square off the analytics. You go F yourself.
I mean, again, you put the game in your players' hands. Not even your best players, but in this case, it obviously was. But you put the game in your players' hands.
Isn't that a better format?
Oh, it was great. I loved it.
I have one issue with the format. And I got caught. So because I was watching the game at home and I had to go run into the TV, and because the game went so long, not that I'm complaining about it, but I had to leave the house to get on TV. So with literally with the Kansas City on the second or third to last play of the game, I had to run out of the house, and so I put it on my phone. Except, the phone, for some reason, my YouTube TV app on the phone just fired up the Nickelodeon broadcast.
Oh.
Which is for the kids.
Yeah.
So you got SpongeBob doing the play-by-play?
SpongeBob.
Yeah.
It was SpongeBob, and who's the big jelly character next to him?
Plankton.
Patrick.
Plankton?
Patrick. Yeah. Patrick. He's the plankton.
So I'm not kidding about this. So I had it on my phone, on my lap.
That's amazing.
As I'm driving to work, and it was the Nickelodeon feed, and SpongeBob and
Patrick Star, yeah.
They were going, well, I don't know, SpongeBob. I hope we do it a double overtime. And yeah, let's go to double overtime. And so I thought we were going to double overtime. I didn't realize it was just a quarter break. I didn't know the rules. Did you? Now, apparently on the CBS broadcast,
They said it.
Romo made a point of pointing that out. I didn't know that. And oh, by the way, SpongeBob and Patrick were talking about a double overtime. And so I went on TV and said if they had kicked a field goal, we go to double overtime. My source?
Patrick.
SpongeBob and Patrick.
Yeah, so let me just tell you for future reference, Patrick's a moron.
Okay. Well, so I didn't realize it was just a quarter break. I thought it was actually double overtime. And then I thought about it. I wish it was a double overtime. It would be more interesting.
Yeah.
Because the most interesting part of the end of these games are those clock decisions. Field goal, touchdown, timeout, managing that whole last minute is the good stuff. And it turns out the game clock was a non-factor. I thought the game clock was a factor.
So did I. I was yelling, like, why didn't they call it timeouts? I didn't know it at the end there.
So Bill Vinovich said it on the coin toss. He said, we're basically starting a new game. And then Romo said during the broadcast, or maybe it was Nance.
So I saw the Vinovich thing. I thought he sort of flubbed the overtime instructions a little bit. I guess I just didn't pick up on it. But what I guess, or maybe I just didn't think about it till I got in the car and turned on the broadcast, and SpongeBob told me we were going to double overtime, and I wanted double overtime. I thought it would have been more interesting. That's the one tweak I would do. The one thing I would do, and it was Belichick's suggestion at one point, was 10-minute not sudden death, and so then you just get a full football game with all the decisions that have to be made, whether you're bleeding clock or stopping clock, calling timeouts or not calling timeouts. Take away the sudden death, just play a 10-minute period. And if a team can hold the ball for 8 minutes, and if they win the toss and hold it for 8 minutes, you deserve to win.
Which is basically what happened last night.
Which is kind of what happened. They held it for 7 minutes. But be that as it may, shame on Kyle Shanahan for just deferring to the nerds. That's my biggest beef with him last night. The analyst told me to do it. And they should tweak it to go to double overtime.